Hello there, and welcome to the Phone Archive, a series in which I look at some weird, obscure phones from all around the globe that may entertain you or may bore you to death. Who knows? I used to do something similar on my old channel and I called it the Retro Phone Archive, but I've decided to rename this one the Phone Archive, just for simplicity's sakes. Just because the Note 9 has launched, I figured it might be time to have a look back at some older clones of the somewhat successful Note 3. Actually, it was very successful. So this will be maybe a three-parter series to cover all three of these phones. And as you guessed, yes, all of these are clones. Now, I picked two up at the same place, and this one I've had for a while, and I kind of cracked the LCD taking it apart, and this one will be... That's later on. We're pretty much going to be having a look at this one first, then that one, then that one. And since this one and that one are identical, I'll just use these two as reference. And unfortunately, I don't have the real phone. I've been trying to hunt down one very cheap, and I can't find one. So unfortunately, you're just going to have to go off stock images that I can somehow put here and all that sort of stuff. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling and we're going to finally get into these phones. And I'm sorry about the light, but it's the only way that I can sort of film and make it look decent. Looking at both phones just as they are, you can see this one here, the screen goes pretty much all the way down to the home button, whereas this one here has a considerable gap. Now looking online, this one seems to be the closest, but that gap there is very minimal compared to the real deal, which is just a little bit slightly higher. I'll show a picture here so you can just sort of see a bit of a comparison. Whereas this one here, the screen is, yeah, a lot smaller, and you can see just there that the screen is bigger on this one than this one. And coming to the front of the phone, we have the standard home buttons. We also have the capacitive buttons just here. You can see on this one, you can clearly see them, but this one, they look more like the real deal. This one has more click to it, this one doesn't. The top of the phone, you can see the Samsung logo branded in there, the front-facing cameras, the earpiece, and the sensor locations. And as far as I can see online, this one looks closer to the real deal. The font is off on this one, and this one just looks more clean. And I forgot to mention, this one has a tempered glass screen protector already applied to it, so I would say that it probably shipped with one, but I'm not too sure. Around the phone we have just the plastic body. It's not metal or anything like that, it's just all plastic. We have the side buttons just here, volume up and volume down. And on the bottom here we have the USB 3 ports here. I'm not too sure if they transfer USB 3 data speeds, but I'm probably going to say no. There is a microphone hole on each of them, the speaker grill, and an area for the S Pen, which we will have a look at in a second. On the other side is the power buttons. This one's smaller than that one, which is odd. And there's a little logo next to that one, but not next to that one. So there you go. And on top of the phone, we have the little IR blaster, the infrared blaster as it's called, the secondary microphones, and a 3.5mm headphone jack on each of them. Switching to the back of the units, you can see that where I bought it from, they labeled them fake because they bought them and didn't realize they were fakes. And yeah, whoops. But that's okay. You can see slight differences and variations between the materials. I like this material better. It feels more leathery than this one. This one just feels gimmicky. But the stitching is all there, as you can see. You can see all the stitching going all around it and all that sort of stuff. The cameras at the back, this one here looks cheaper than this one. But then again, they're probably exactly the same, and the flashes slightly different as well. But otherwise, they look pretty much identical except for the colors, and the logo seems to be fairly decent. Looks the same. Alright, so let's talk about the S Pens real quick. And here is the S Pens. Basically, it's just a plastic stylus. The buttons don't work on these, they're just there for decoration. It's a very hard tip at the end, and this is just all plastic chrome sort of thing with the Samsung logo on there, as well as embedded on that one. Now, I can't remember which one came out of which, but anyways, these don't function any more than just a stylus. They don't have any extra functions like the actual Note series phones do. Fairly sure we don't have to use these while actually trying to use these phones. Alright, taking the back covers off the phones. Yeah, basically the same thing, no differences there, so you can swap and change them if you would like. The reason why this is going to be a three-parter is because I only actually have one battery. That's number one. And number two is I like to ramble a lot, so that's why it's going to be 3 parts. I do have the extra battery. It's really hard to see, but it's actually quite swollen. That's looking like a pretty fake Samsung battery there, though. Supposedly a 3,200 milliamp hour battery, but we'll see. This one in here looks kind of somewhat legit. Kind of. Until you see that there's a sticker on the back that... Hang on, what does that say? GAO? GAO? Okay. Well, this sticker from GAO says that it's a pretty terrible fake. No NFC label or anything like that. It's just... It's as it is. But it works. So we have a fantastic battery to use. The first one we're going to be having a look at is this one here. And the second one is going to be this one in another video. But turning them over... While they look pretty much identical to the first glance, you can see some differences. Notably, the thing you'll notice is the SD card slot and SIM card slot area. This one has all the metal shielding. This one has the shielding for the SIM card, but not for the micro SD card. And you can actually see the PCB underneath there. So that's kind of a cheap little thing. Otherwise, the plastic body looks all the same. The screws seem to be in the same area for the most part. Actually, no, they're not. Nah, they're different. So these are from 2 different manufacturers, I would assume. Looking at the IMEI information, you can see that this one says Samsung mobile phone. Model is an SM-N9006. This one is an SM-N900. The IMEIs are different. Yes, they are. The serial numbers are different, but they look pretty average so far. And you can also see this holographic little sticker here and some sort of a date code. What's the date on this one? The 3rd month of 2014, so there you go. And also just on here, you can see that it says 2G and 3G near the loudspeaker portion, whereas on here, it's just a stamp of the model number. And just another quick note, you can see the fake sort of aluminium brushing on the camera lens. More on that than what you can see on this one. It looks pretty... I mean, it's there, but it's pretty scratched and worn out. Okay, enough rambling. So let's go ahead and put a SIM card in here, a micro SD card, switch it on, and start having a look at this phone. Because looking at the specs for the actual Note 3, do you really think this is packing it? Nah. Alright, so SIM card and SD card have been loaded into the phone, so we'll stick that there. Oh, just noticed there's a little holographic sticker there as well. They're everywhere. It's time to finally power on this thing and see what it's capable of. Now, I've actually had this one and the second one that I've got for quite a while from the same place I bought it at. Then the third one I've had for probably about a year or so, and yeah, I've kind of needed a screen for it and all that sort of stuff. I'll explain later on. And that took a while to actually show the logos, but they kind of looked okay. Kind of. Okay, and the phone is booted up. We have battery life. We have no service. We might have service. We have service. Huh. Okay. So it might be a 3G phone after all, which means it's still usable. Hooray! Alrighty, let's unlock this phone. Unfortunately, services have stopped working. Oh, that's fantastic. Yep. Is it, maybe you're gonna do something, or... I think I broke it. Alright, let me take the SIM card out and try again. Oh, I didn't notice there's a little blue LED up there. Well, let's see if it works this time. Well, that sort of sucks. Okay, I think we fixed it. I don't know what channel D null keeps on... That comes up all the... Alright, we're going to try again with SIM cards and try it again. Okay, boot it up again. Let's see if... Okay, everything's good. I hope. Alright. Oh, network... No. Oh, what are you doing? Stop doing things. Oh, there we go. Network's working again. What is it doing? I have a feeling this phone is going to die any second, so I'm just going to go ahead and just try and do this as fast as I can. So straight away, booting up the phone, we have the standard Android user interface with the TouchWiz design sort of elements here. I'm going to show you the S Pen really quickly. I think there's actually a little micro switch in the S Pen slot that detects when this comes out, but otherwise, this just works as a stylus and nothing more. It even makes a sound when you put it back in. So having a look, the standard applications that come with the phone: browser, calculator, calendar, camera, of course, clock, compass, contacts, file manager, flashlight, FM radio, gallery, Google settings, messenger, music, phone, Play Store, S Note, settings, SIM toolkit, sound recorder, talk, player, and voice search. And that is all that comes with this one. Let's go into settings and see what we can see in here. Let's go Wi-Fi. Okay, so I found a bunch of networks, so let's go ahead and connect to my one. Okay, we are connected. All good. So coming into more networks and stuff. Yeah, 3G. And that message keeps on coming up. But anyways, it is definitely a 3G phone, so that's okay, and it's just randomly crashing and doing things. This phone isn't going to last long, is it? I reckon it has NFC, but I don't think it would. You never know, though. It even has a Samsung keys function here, which is, yeah, it would not work at all, but hey, you never know. I'm kind of curious to test it. Network connection failed. Yeah, it's just doing all sorts of weird things at this point in time. Alright, let's go into storage and see what it says. Probably 16 gig? Yeah, it reckons probably a 16 gig ROM that it has in here, which it's probably not. And then you can see my SD card is 8 gig. Oh, I don't want to erase it. No, thank you. Now, the battery is dying very, very fast, so yeah, I got to be really quick about this. In About Device, we have that it is Android version 4.4, which is KitKat, which is, I believe that's what the Note 3 shipped with. Software updates. I always check for software updates because you just never know. Well, it was easy. I wonder if this serial number is the same as the serial number printed on the sticker. I'll have to check that later on. It's fairly basic. I mean, it's mimicking a Note 3. It has a TouchWiz interface. And I can kind of see why people would sort of go, well, yeah, it does look sort of like the Note 3, because it sort of does. But it's when you get deeper into the fine details you start to see little differences between this and the retail version. Okay, so I'm crossing my fingers here. It's actually reasonably okay to use. It does do the whole crashing thing every now and again, but otherwise it seems to be fairly fine. So let's go ahead and open browser and we'll see what a video looks like on this screen. Well, that's helpful. If that goes away, I might be able to use the keyboard. Oh, god damn it. Why is there a big exit prompt there that looks like it's from Windows 2000 or something like that?
If I edited this correctly and all that sort of stuff, this should be a somewhat part of a series I'm doing on really, really, really small mobile phones. The phone today is based off the...
Okay, so while YouTube is watchable on this phone, ads keep on coming up everywhere. So, I'm going to say for browsing experience, forget it. I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off on this thing because it is horrible. It's just doing all sorts of rando things. Okay, so you know how I said it was kind of good to use? It was alright to use? I take that back now. It's just... What is it doing? It's just... What did it just install? Fast Cleaner. It just installed. I want my SD card out of here, because I don't want it to put viruses and some other bullshit on here. Yeah, this is pretty much just unusable. It's terrible. Anyways, we're going to move on to a speaker test using Mick Gordon's Rip and Tear from the 2016 Doom game. Alright, headphone users, you have been warned. What the hell just happened? I don't... What? Oh my god. Kill me. I hate this phone. I absolutely hate this thing. Okay, I've put the swollen battery in here just so I can finish off this review because the other battery is just completely dead and the phone just died again. Okay, so I've just factory reset the device. What is going on with this thing? What are you doing? Oh my god. Okay, it's booted up. It's booted up. Oh my god, there's an app called Sexy already on it. Oh my god. Please don't tell me it's corrupted my SD card. It didn't. Yay. Alright, headphone users, you have been warned. Let's try this again. You know what? Music doesn't like to work on this thing at all. It just doesn't want to work at all. This is just absolutely terrible. The speaker is terrible. The whole phone is terrible. And we're not even done with it yet. Alright, the phone is slightly working at this point in time. I'm going to quickly show you the specs. Hopefully it works. Okay, so it's a dual-core processor. MediaTek MT6572 at 1.3 GHz, Mali 400 MP GPU. Device reckons that it's a 6.88-inch screen, which it clearly is not. It's a 540 by 960 screen with total of 512 meg of RAM, and internal storage is 1.27 gigs, so probably a 2 gig ROM with the rest being taken up by the Android operating system. System is 4.2.2. We have root access, which is surprising. Battery is 74%. This is not a 3200 mAh battery, I'll tell you that. Thermal, sensors, and all that sort of stuff. So I think we have a fairly rough idea of what this thing is running. Yeah, everything looks pretty much standard, so I definitely know the specs now, so I don't have to worry about that. Let's perform the camera test here, so I can just get it over and done with. So the picture size says 13 megapixels, so we'll do that. Then the video we'll put at fine quality. So let me go ahead and do this and show you the results later on. And the front camera is 2 megapixel, which is stuff all. And this is the test of the fake Galaxy Note 3 device. Let's just see if we get some autofocus happening. This is very shoddy, I can tell you that now. Yeah, it seems we have some sort of an autofocus happening. Okay, I'm safe to say that the camera quality is quite terrible. But that's what we were expecting anyways. I didn't expect this to be anything fancy. But I am finally finished with this thing because I don't want to use it anymore. It's just horrible. It's an absolute horrible phone. So I'm going to just list the specs over here so you can have a look at the specs of this crappy device. And compare that with the real ones. I'll leave the GSM Arena link in the description. And I'm going to just take the battery out. I'm gonna take my SD card out, and I never want to play around with that phone ever again. That was absolutely horrible. That was horrendous. Just think, I have another one to go. The other one has a broken LCD, thus I can't use it, so I'm gonna have to try and swap them for parts and stuff. But you know what? That video can wait for now, because I'm gonna go and try and gain my sanity back. That was absolutely horrible using this thing. It was almost tempting to just snap it in half and just leave it, but I survived. Whew. That is all for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which is either going to be part 2 of the other ones, or something completely different. Who knows? Oh, I need to gain my sanity back. If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.